You quoted that job at a target profit level. But now that the job is done, did you actually make the money you thought you were going to? That's the topic of this week's Planning for Profit Minute. As we dig into the software, we're going to go back in and look at a previous job. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on, in fact, it's titled Pricing a Job and Saving a Job. If you need clarification or better understanding on how to use the tool to price your jobs, go back and review that Planning for Profit Minute video. Now, in this one, I'm going to call up that same job that we did. And so I'm going to dig into the numbers itself. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Jobs, down here on my left-hand menu, and then go back into Job Pricing Calculator. Now, the nice part about this is that you can go back and look at previous jobs that you've quoted and saved in the system. Now, when I come in here to begin with, again, it's going to give me the warning saying, hey, pick a department. You simply want to go back and select your individual department. So this particular job is a job I quoted for my installation department. So we're going to choose that first. Next, you can see right over here, we've got View Jobs. That's going to let you go back and look at any job that you've previously saved in the system. So I can see here I've got a number of different jobs that are popping up, and I'll simply scroll down this list. The job I'm going to look at is called PFP Minute Example, right? So there it is, right? So I've got it on the bottom of my list right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over and just simply click on Calculate. What that does is it's going to load that entire job back up in the job pricing calculator. So when I get into it, I can now see, here's my title of the job. We had 32 man hours on this job. I had $12,500 in materials. $450 in subcontractor cost. We ended up, we were set for a 20% material margin on this job with an 18% subcontractor margin. And then as I scroll down, I can see where my target current labor rate at those numbers would have priced me over here at $17,709. We actually quoted the job up here. So when we actually quoted this, we saved the price point where we were quoting it at. So we quoted it here at the $18,157. And by doing that, as we look over on the other side, that would give us an 18.11% net profit, which results in get my number here, $3,289. Now that we've done this job, we quoted it, we sold it, the job is now complete. The question is, did we actually make that 18.11% that we had targeted when we quoted this job? That's where the job costing piece comes in. And so on the job pricing tool on the right-hand side, right, left hand is actually pricing the job. On the right-hand side, we can now do that job costing and figure out how much did we actually make. And so all we need to do is simply come back in here and say, okay, how many hours did the guys actually take to do that job? Well, in this particular case, they got it done in actually 30 hours instead of 32. So we plug that in. What were the actual materials that they used? Well, they used exactly what we quoted. It was $12,500 in materials. And then what about subcontractors? Well, subcontractor ran into a little bit of an issue, and it took him, his bill was $600. So we plug in those couple of numbers, and now we hit calculate one more time. And what it's going to do is it's going to go back and look at what we quoted the job for versus what our actual costs ended up being. So if I make that a little bit easier to see right there, I can look at the job costing and I can see in here that we ended up with an actual net profit of 17.95. Remember, if you go back and look at it, we were shooting for right here at 18.11 was our target. We finished the job up at a 17.95, and the actual net profit dollars on this job was $3,259.18. At any point in time, we can go back and do that quick job costing to find out, are we making the amount of money that we thought we were going to on this job? Now that we've done the job costing, what I encourage you to do is simply go back one more time, scroll to the bottom of the sheet, and simply hit save. That way it will save this job costing information into the tool as well, and we start building your database. So we'll eventually be able to give you actual numbers as far as what is your target net profit versus what are you actually doing? Use the job costing tool to help you validate your pricing and make sure that you're quoting your jobs where you need to, or do we need to fix a problem that we have out there? Either a problem with quoting or a problem with my team in the way that they're getting the job done. Use the tool, increase your profitability. And that's the topic of this week's Planning for Profit Minute.